Welcome, guys. Hope you are well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming along. As it says at the bottom, do get your comments in. Do like and subscribe the channel at Turf Morehouse TV. Well, Turf Morehouse TV on here, but at Turf Morehouse on all social platforms. Today, we're just going to go over the Euro final. I know it's late. I know it's bringing back up the drama, but it's got to be done. It's got to be done. We've got to talk about it. I mean, a lot's happened since then. I must start, before I do bring our guest in, I must start with the incidents happening surrounding the game. Everything that's happened after the final whistle. It's not fair. It's really not fair. And if you are of that minority that put your name out there and, you know, succumb to that sort of pressure of being around people that are of that sort of mindset, don't let yourself be one of those mindless idiots. You're not worth it. It's not worth it at all. As it says in at the bottom, stop online abuse. That's all we're asking. All we're asking is that you do your best. There's no need for it. In fact, do your best. It shouldn't be taught. It should be in your system. It should be well known. As I said, the racial abuse thrown to the three ethnic players from the England side it's not fair. It's not fair. Like, judged on the colour of their skin because they missed a penalty. It's not right at all. The last time we played Italy in a penalty shootout, Ashley Cole and Ashley Young both missed a penalty. But maybe I was too young. Maybe it was a case of that I wasn't that active on social media, that I didn't see what was going on. But yeah, it's just one of those, and it's not fair at all. So please do nip it out. And if anybody, you know, if anybody is that sort of person on this, you know, on our platforms, then I don't welcome you around here, unfortunately. I'm really sorry to say, but, you know, we're all good people. We all try to be good people. And talking to good people, we have got Chris. How are you, mate?
What an arse-licking introduction to me. How the devil are you, sir? Can I just say, in all seriousness, well said, sir. Well said.
It needs to be, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, we don't want to go over it too much due to, you know, and take the shine away from the game, but it genuinely has.
You know what gets me, right? That if those three players had scored their penalties, then we wouldn't be doing this. That's how pathetic it is. And when those, I don't want to call them fans, but when those idiots go back to their own clubs, probably half their team is non-white, to want a better word. And what would they do if their players score a goal? They'll cheer them. It's just, it's like the missing link. We've found the missing link.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's like I said I think it was on your channel, that during 90 minutes, fans are colourblind. They're behind them players in an England top, 100%. Yeah. As soon as that 90 minutes is over, that's it. The blinkers are off and anything goes. And it's not fair. It's not fair at all. Those players work hard, put the training in. You know, when you're asked as a kid, what do you want to be when you're older? You know, I want to be a footballer, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be this. But, you know, a lot of kids will say, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a footballer, sorry.
Yeah.
You know, not me. I said I wanted to be an ice cream man. I were always a bit different. But anyway.
I wanted to be like my dad, so I wanted to be a milkman.
Hey, way I've been feeling over the past couple of months, I wanted to be a bit like my dad, non-existent.
Oh, bless.
But no, it's right enough. End of the day, we all have our crosses to burn, and at the end of the day, it just is one of those things. Nobody should be judged for who they are, what they believe in, what they stand for. End of the day, so yeah. Simple as hashtag stop online abuse. We'll take some comments. The missus, first one in. Remember to sub, give a like, comment and share, guys. It's true. Please do give us a like, drop in your comments, share away, subscribe. That's the big one she forgot. So that's it.
Do I have to like you?
Not really, but you're here, right, so I suppose you do.
That's okay then. Well, no, I've got nothing better to do, you know.
Also, as well,
down over, mate, you won't see me, I tell you.
As well, guys, please do go and give a like and subscribe to Chris. Chris, before we take some more comments, obviously, give a shout out to your channel.
Yeah, on YouTube it's Leicester Till I Die TV. We're chasing the 1,000. So if you can really help, we're really close to 700. So please give us a sub on Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. Facebook it's Leicester Till I Die the group, and Twitter it's @LeicesterTID.
Brilliant stuff. So please do head over there, guys. Chris has just done an interview recently with the one and only Alan Smith. Some of you youngsters, you hipsters, you know, all these young guns about nowadays. You know, get yourselves on there. Alan Smith, you'll know him more as the voice, you know, as one of the voices on the commentary panel on FIFA. But yeah, he did have a playing career before that, kids. He really did. Yes, and he played for Leicester. He played for Arsenal. Less about Arsenal, though, shall we say, Chris? Yeah.
Well, he was Leicester first, shall we say?
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's where he got his grounding. That's where he learned.
And I'm going to clip the bit out where he actually says, "Once a fox, always a fox." So
there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
But yeah, so do go on, head over to Chris. Do give him a follow. Go and give it a watch. It's a cracking interview. Chris did really well, as much as his arse was going 20p, 50p, but he did it. He got through it.
It was, I tell you, mate. It was. It's a good job I was in the bucket seat.
Hussam, how are you? Who won the Euros? Well, we'll get to that. I think we all know. Nippon, not today, son. Not today. The thing is, at the moment, I'm just keeping it as it is. Agree. The missus agrees. We are no different on the inside. We're not. You know, there's many pictures online where people are, you know, they're sharing pictures of coffins saying, you know, white British, Asian, you know, Pakistani, everything else and stuff like that. And they're all, you know, all the coffins are the same. We all go the same. We all come into the world the same. We all share the same colour blood. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Even if our blood were different, who cares? Who cares? It's not about sides. So I totally agree. Yeah, I did want it to be an ice cream man. As a kid, I used to tell everybody that I want to be an ice cream man. I want to ask them what they want. I'll take the money for what they want and then drive off eating their ice cream. That's what I always used to say to everybody. And to be fair, it's caught up with me with my weight. I haven't touched ice cream, but I've touched everything else basically out of the fridge.
Do you know,
out of the fridge?
I just had a thought, you know, just staying on this topic, not the ice cream topic, but the racist topic. Looking on average, our starting lineup at Leicester, there's less white players than there are non-white players, and yet we still. And I think that's possibly the same in a lot of clubs. And yet,
not Burnley. I think there's two.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you look around, I mean, you know, we're buying a lot of Africans and what have you, because they're bloody good, to be honest with you. Yeah. And yet we cheer them every week of the season, and yet they go and do that. And then, as I say, it annoys me that they then go back to the clubs and cheer them on when they've got their colours on. Sorry, I just had to.
No. Say that. Honestly, Chris, you got to get it out sometimes. Ankit's in the house. Hello, Dan and Chris. Big up, Ankit. Hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. Nippon says, thought you'd gone into hiding to stay away from being bantered by everyone else. Nah. I just thought I'd let everybody get their banter out, let them throw it at everybody else. And then when it gets tiring, they can't just bring it in here. So as much as I've left it till late, I thought, you know, there's swings and roundabouts in that one. Ankit says, respect for you guys to voice it as well, Dan. No, it's true, Ankit. It's not fair, to be fair. So, yeah, so something has to be done about it. And fingers crossed it's being looked into. So we can get the idiots out and focus on the fans that are out there to you know, watch the football and taking what's been given as a really good tournament, and it's been spoiled in the end by some mindless idiots. Hey Joseph, Joey's lad. Hope you're well, mate. Tell your dad I said hiya as well. In fact, I'm going to message your dad probably after this, so I'll let him know that I'll probably be in touch. I agree, Ankit. Stop it all. Stop racism. Stop online abuse. Stop violence. Yeah, there's a lot, isn't there? I mean, it'd have been domestic abuse galore, flaming abuse online. There's all sorts happens after a couple of beers and football. Sometimes with certain people in certain areas, it's not fair. It's not fair at all. Nippon, I am disappointed England didn't win the Euros. I really wanted to say, I wanted to see Hussein with a half bald head. I mean,
but we want to see Nippon with a blue head, don't we?
Yeah, we're still waiting for Nippon with the blue hair.
Come on, Nippon, stand up to the mark.
I know. Come on, never mind waiting for your mum. If you stop going out for meals, you'll be able to get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been funny because that's what he would have done as a forfeit. So yeah, fair play to Hussam for if he would have done that. But yeah, he wanted Italy anyway. But yeah, obviously we'll move on from all the racial stuff. We want to, as much as it's a very key point, we don't want to drag it on because it's giving those idiots airtime. And it's not fair. Let's talk about the matter of fact of what we're here for, what the channel represents, and that's football. So, Chris, the final came about, obviously. I mean, let's break it down. The end of the Denmark game, the belief around everywhere in England, we actually went all Scouse, didn't we, and thought, this is our year.
I mean, I'm a Leicester fan. You're a Burnley fan. We're used to not winning things, aren't we? It's sort of
some more than others, Chris. Some more than others.
no, but over the years, it's been like that. We're not winning trophies year in, year out, and we've got to look at it and go. I always say this: would we have taken that at the start of the season? At the start of the tournament, would you have said, "Yeah, you'll get to the final, but you lose the final"? Will you take that now? Yeah, add a bit in your hand off, because we weren't expected to get that far. There was so much criticism going about Gareth Southgate's management style, his squad. He played a blinder. I don't care what anybody says. He played a blinder. We criticised him for choices he made, subs he made. Up until that final, he got us there. And
he did.
Can't ask any more than that.
No, can you? I mean, I will hold my hands up. I will say that I did say that England will get to the final and lose. I called it before the tournament. So, I didn't call it halfway through. It was literally at the beginning. I always said... I
was blaming Ankit for saying that it would go to penalties and England would win on penalties, and he jinxed it. It was you all along.
Yeah, I think Ankit just helped it over the line, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm more gutted that I didn't put money on it.
Oh, that sounds like a Lancastrian. It really does.
It matters more when there's money on it.
Yeah.
Oh, hashtag bet responsibly as well while we're here.
Oh, yes, indeed. I mean, it's disappointing. I would have been more disappointed had Leicester lost the FA Cup than England losing the Euros, to be honest with you, because that would have meant more to me. I know Maisie, who's a regular on this show as well, she was more disappointed at England losing that than the Euros, than Man United losing the Europa League final, which I don't quite get. But then again, I'm more of a club man than a country man. I'm kind of it's really got my interest back in England because I'd lost it. I kind of started stopping to follow England as such under Sven, when Sven was man. That's going back a bit. But, you played all these meaningless friendlies. I can remember Australia we played, and I think we made 10 changes at half-time. And it just made the whole point of the whole thing ridiculous. And now you look at the qualifying groups. The qualifying groups are designed for the big teams to get through. And if we can't get out of those qualifying groups, we might as well pack up and go home. So I don't really even get excited until a tournament comes along. But I just think if we can keep this squad together and we can, in fairness, keep Gareth Southgate in position, we've got a great future because, he's taken a team that couldn't beat Costa Rica, couldn't get out of the group in the World Cup, and he's taken us to 4th in the World Cup. And a team that was knocked out of the Euros by Iceland. And then he's taken us to 4th in the World Cup, 3rd in the Nation League, and 2nd in the Euros. What have we got to complain about?
Exactly. It's steady progression.
Yeah.
Steady progression. Yeah. And to be fair, I'm very similar to you. And I think I watched an interview of Harry Redknapp. He said, "What are your thoughts on England?" And it was probably a couple of years, but I think it was under Capello. And he said, "It's all well and good. It's literally all well and good playing San Marino, playing a bunch of people that are, making bread. One person's making bread, the next person's, a house husband, the other one works on local farm. It was all well and good playing these teams and beating them, 7-8-0. But then when it came to the games that mattered, we were awful."
I mean, I think this was one of the reasons they introduced this Nations League, wasn't it? To get, to make friendlies more worthwhile. So you were playing, teams that were the same level as you. And, we all right, we got past Switzerland. It was with penalties and what have you. But, look at everything that Gareth's done. He's got us to where we are.
Cheers,
He's got us to top 4, whether you like that and believe that or not, in the rankings. We've beaten, we've won. We won a World Cup penalty shootout. We won another penalty shootout in the Nations League. We beaten Germany for the first time in 55 years. We've got our first final in 55 years. There's nothing else the man can do other than win. And at the end of the day, there was 20 or 24 teams that were in there, and we got into the final.
Exactly. Boxer's comment here: Southgate has done more than Capello, McLaren, Hodgson, Ericsson, etc., and done very well. If you look at the final on its own, we wasted a huge chance on a home ground. There is a bit of that. I can understand where people are coming from, because even over not just the final, the game against Germany, I thought we set up quite defensively, and then I was looking at the bench and thinking, how much attacking intent's on there, and maybe that was his tactic, to sort of, set up early, defend like a brick shit house, and then throw on fast legs and kill the game off.
Yeah.
I mean, the final, he got it wrong, in my opinion. He could have brought, when I say he got it wrong, I mean, he could have brought Rashford and Sancho on at half-time of extra time, not just as about the referees about to blow the whistle for penalties. Give him a bit of leg time. Grow into the game a little bit.
The other side to that is bringing somebody on at that stage of the game can just, you suddenly got somebody that's played with, this guy next to him for, 100 odd minutes, passes the ball to where he thinks he'll be, and he's suddenly not there because it's a different player. That player breaks, that ball's taken off us by the Italians. They break through and score. It's like the old, never make a substitution at a corner sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's that side to it as well. But I like the comment that somebody said, like, now we're going to have to go back to moaning about our own manager's tactics for the next 9 months. And I've sat with, I love Rodgers to bits, but sometimes Scotland are in the quicksand then, aren't they, Yank?
And then Switzerland, I don't know what they're doing.
No, they're trying to fill the holes in the cheese, aren't they? In joking aside, I love Brendan Rodgers to bit. I'd have his babies, but there's times last season I looked at him and I'm thinking, what the hell have you done? Why have you picked that team? He's gone on and won the game. Yeah, great decisions. That was great tactics. We're so fickle. And he played 8 games, I think it was, wasn't it, in there? And you know what? He got it wrong in maybe a couple.
Yeah, as you say, it's going back to club level. It's one of those where Sean Dash at the beginning of last season, we had injuries galore. I get that. But then we also had, Chris Wood and Barnes, who the season before were firing on all cylinders, both over 10 plus goals in the Premier League together. And then last season it just didn't work. They weren't working together. It wasn't. They seemed like nobody could read each other's game. It had just gone, and Dash kept sticking with it. He kept sticking with Barnes and Wood, and every week everyone's like, "What are you doing? What does Vidra and Rodriguez have to do to knock these two off when none of them are in form?"
Yeah.
Luckily, obviously, as you said, he won Brendan won games by, he stuck with it at times and it worked. Under Dash, he had to change it, and when he brought Vidra back into the scene, it worked because him and Wood were phenomenal last season. Well, towards the back end, anyway.
I think as well, you do need a bit of luck. Inacho discovering the Brendan thing. Hey, I tell you what, there's worse shouts. There's worse shouts. And Northern Ireland's part of Britain, so maybe get away with that. He'd been picking Inacho before, and it just wasn't working. We got an extra injury, had to change the formation, and it just clicked. And then Inacho couldn't stop scoring. If he farted, it blew the ball into the net. And you sometimes need that bit of luck. The decision just to go for you. And whether we have the luck or not in that final, you're up against a team that's playing dirty, a team that probably should have had a couple of players, at least one player off. One player was obviously auditioning to be, play the Boston Strangler. But, we knew what they were like before we played them. And I'm still extremely proud of the lads. We didn't lose a game in normal time of football. We only lost on penalties. And it wasn't brilliant penalties. And I'm sure we'll come to penalties later. But, there was 10 penalties and 5 of them were missed.
Exactly. I mean, the game itself, touching on what you said there about the dirtiness of the Italians, on the basis of the game, you're coming up against a side who, in my opinion, before a ball was kicked, I was thinking they're more bothered. They're not thinking about the trophy. They're more bothered about their undefeated run coming to an end. That was my personal opinion. That's what I thought. And I was watching the videos and stuff prior to kickoff, and they're saying that Mancini said, "Come on, let's go out and go and win it." And they were all like, "What, really? You for real?" And he sort of has instilled that belief, and they went on. And, I agree with what Box is saying here. England have become very hard to beat. Yes. We conceded 2 all tournament.
Yeah.
You're
not going to win anything conceding goals.
No, exactly.
It's as simple as that. You talk to any manager that takes over a team towards the bottom of the Premier League, and their first responsibility is always to plug the defence.
Yeah.
Because if you're not conceding, you're not going to lose. It's as simple as that. And Box is quite right. We are hard to beat. It
is, and there's also as well, though, the fact that people were saying, it goes back to that San Marino comment when I'm saying we're beating teams 7-8-0. In the friendlies we've been the odd 1-0, 2-0, and people going, "Oh, we should have been beating them more comfortably." Well, not really. I mean, I had mates that went to the final, they went to the semis, they went to the last 16.
Did they pay to get in, or did they sort of?
Yeah, no, they part at England Travel Club, so they got tickets. But they, they said that the football wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty to watch. But we've seen at club level that our football isn't the prettiest. We're not a top. Well, Burnley certainly aren't. We're not a side that turn on the style and being able to make score goals.
Do you not think, though, that when we get to finals, we always big them up? You know, it's like, it's England versus Italy. This is two great teams. You know, you wouldn't have this if it was North Macedonia versus Scotland or Wales versus, Switzerland. This is England, Italy. It's going to be a bit same with the FA Cup. God, it's Leicester versus Chelsea. It's third versus fourth. This is going to be a great two teams that love to play football. It's a final. That love to play football goes out the window. I know from a neutral's point of view, the FA Cup final was, apart from the goal that was amazing, but it was probably, from a neutral's point of view, an awful game to watch. Do I give a shit? No, we won.
No.
We won 1-0. No, we won't. In 10 years' time, when we're talking about it, and believe me, as Leicester fans, we'll still be talking about it in 10 years' time. It doesn't come around that often, let's be honest with you. But we won't be saying, oh, do you remember that game that was boring to watch and we only just managed to win it 1-0 and they got a goal disallowed at the end? Well, we'd buggery.
No.
We'll be do you remember that game we won? We won the FA Cup that year, and it's the same with this. We're not going to go and win 3 or 4-0, but I think that's people's expect. That's England fans. We expect to hit 4 or 5.
We do, and as Ankit said, you've hit the nail on the head there, Chris. England were a bit too pragmatic versus Italy. The opposition was there for the taking as much as Southgate did great until the final. I mean, I know a lot of people, they keep saying that, Southgate's come out and said in regards to the penalties, it was all on him. He chose them. If anyone to blame him. Which is a big call for somebody that's been in that sort of heartache before, for him to say, once again, you can put it on me.
But then he is manager. I mean, do you want to talk about the penalties now, or do you want to leave it till later?
Yeah, we can talk. Bring the penalties in. No matter.
There's a lot to be said about penalties. We know, let's put it bluntly, we're shit at penalties. But we have got over that hoodoo. I don't think we need to be scared now. There's no way on earth that you can get yourself ready for that. People were saying, well, you know what? They've got a long walk up to the, from the center, halfway line up until there, but then so's the other team. The lads are too young. No, they're old enough to play football. They're old enough to take a penalty. If you go back to the 1914 war, the 1939 war, there was kids younger than Saka stood in trenches, water up over the boots, getting shot at by the Germans. So don't say that a 19-year-old lad,
exactly, well said, Chris,
is going to be, shouldn't be up there taking penalties. You could argue that he shouldn't have taken penalty number 5. That's another argument altogether. But yes, he should be up there taking a penalty, because what Southgate did, quite rightly, I think, is he got them practicing penalties after every training session. And he'd got a list. And he went, oh, he's the best penalty taker. He's the second best for scoring. Grealish said he wanted to take one. But then, he's probably looked at that and went, Grealish, you were the 10th best, so you'll be number 10 to take a penalty.
There's also the fact as well, though, with these young lads, half of them won't have took a penalty at club level. So when the keepers are doing the research prior to games of, if we do come up against penalties, which way do they go, which way do they dive, which way they're going to kick it to, there is also that thought of, shit, I don't know which way he's going to go here. Yeah. And the thing is, as I said, the last 2 penalties were saved. Yeah. The last 2 penalties were saved. It's not like they've scarred them, they've missed them. No. The only incident I have for me in regards to the penalties was Rashford's run-up. That's the only incident. That's the only thing that comes to mind for me. The rest of it was one of those.
It took Henderson off at the last minute, but he's missed his last 2 penalties.
Yeah.
For England. So you can't. Why would you have him take another penalty? And Maguire. When Maguire went up at number 2, I'm thinking, what the?
Same.
But obviously in training, he'd been taking the penalties. And he'd been scoring them, and that's why he was at number. I mean, it seems to me a completely logical way to plan it out. Now, if a 19-year-old, and I'm not blaming him for missing, don't get me wrong, but if a 19-year-old, if people are saying he shouldn't be taking a penalty because he is 19, then he shouldn't be on the bloody pitch. End of. He's not ready to play in a major international final if he's not ready to take penalties. It's like, it's like you can't go to school, you can't go to university, do all your studying for 2 years, and then say, well, actually, I don't want to sit the exam at the end of it. You can't, and I just think it was the fairest way of doing it. And you can say goalkeepers save penalties. No, you can't. Strikers or whoever's taken, players miss penalties, and yes, they were saved, but they were saved because they weren't very good penalties. It's as simple as that. If they were good penalties, they'd have gone in the back of the net. There's no pressure on the goalkeeper at all. That's why the goalkeeper's normally the hero. If you send it up trying to get it above the goalkeeper, you're risking it going over the bar. And let's look at it. Kane missed the penalty technically against Denmark.
Yeah.
It was only the fact that he had the sense to follow it in, which a lot of players don't, that we got it. I think all this thing about penalties is it went to penalties, fine. There was nothing else I don't think Gareth could have done. I think Gareth got it spot on. And unfortunately, the players missed. And that's a shame. But what other way would we're not going to get rid of penalties. They're here. We've tried silver and golden goals. They don't work. So it is penalties. What is better than saying that these guys take the penalties in training, therefore they're the ones? Because I'll tell you something, right? If you'd have got, I don't know, name me an England player who didn't take a penalty who was quite experienced. Sterling. Okay. So you put Sterling up for, say, right, Sterling, you're going to go and take penalty number 5. And yet in training, let's say over all the training periods he took 20 penalties and he got 2. But Saka in that same thing has got 15.
Yeah.
So you're putting Sterling up because yes, he's more experienced, but he's fucking shit at taking penalties.
Yeah.
So I don't, I just think, yes, he got it. The way he went about it was right, but they still, it was unfortunate. That's the way it went. We didn't score them.
Exactly. I mean, what Ankit says there, obviously they recorded Kane's pen as a save for Casper. I can understand because you do see it sometimes where as much as they miss but following on the rebound, and they still say that it's a goal via penalty, it still has P in brackets, which is ludicrous in my opinion because he's already took the penalty. So basically the ball's back in play, it's just a normal goal. So yeah, I agree with that. It should have been recorded. It should have been recorded as a save. I'm glad it were. Grealish said he wanted to take one. I mean, it's a big thing, isn't it, to turn around and say, right, I want to step up and take one, because there is players there that maybe shy away from wanting to take one because they've not really had much luck in the past. But
I mean, what Ankit's saying there is, basically what I was saying. So maybe in training, Saka was superb. I think Saka was there's no way if Maguire wasn't good at taking penalties that he would have taken penalty number 2. I'm sorry. If you think anything other than that, you need to have your brain examined. He was number 2 because he was doing well in the training penalties. The problem you've got as well, and Terry Venables said this, I think it was, and he wasn't a bad manager, certainly for England, somebody we all loved and what have you. And he used to say, having somebody that wants to take a penalty is a hell of a lot easier, a lot better for you than somebody you're making take a penalty.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to take a penalty. And I'm not saying Grealish is lying. Don't get me wrong. But, how convenient, how easy is it to say after the incident, I wanted to take one.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the incident where I think it was Portugal. I think they were on penalties. I'm not sure whether it were for the National League. I'm not sure. No, I don't think it were that. It were one tournament, and they had penalties in final, I think it was, and it showed Ronaldo shouting João Martinho, "Come on, you come up, you're taking one, you strike a good ball, I know you don't want to take it, come on, you're right, if you miss, so be it." And it was picked up on the audio. If you miss, so be it. But at the end of the day, you strike a ball really well. Go up, take it. And in the end, he did. He went up, struck it, scored. And they were celebrating like no tomorrow. So sometimes it works, sometimes it don't.
Yeah.
It's it's preference, and it also the thing I have different with Portugal to what we have with England is obviously we have a lot of respect for Gareth. We're taking what he said. The players have come out and said that the unity in the group has been ridiculously strong.
Yeah.
Sometimes you look at teams like Portugal and you see manager doing this on touchline, and you see Ronaldo telling them different.
Do you know what though? It's a manager's job to defend his players. It's a manager's job. Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but I've been a manager, not a football, obviously, and I would never criticize a member of staff in front of another member of staff.
Yeah,
I'd take them aside into a separate room. What Mourinho used to be very, very good at this is that he'd come out after a game and yet he'd blame the referee or he'd blame somebody, Ferguson as well. But it was deflecting the blame from the players.
Yeah.
And Pearson tried it. Pearson was absolutely shit at it, though, with the ostrich head and what have you, But that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to deflect blame and say, look, blame me. I'm the manager. I'm the one you should. But we wanted to have a go at so-and-so. Yeah, no, leave him alone, And he wasn't very good at that. Gareth, he's taking the blame, And what they do behind closed doors is up to them. As I say, I still think Grealish should have kept his gob shut, because I say it's very easy to come out and say, I wanted to take one. Well, you didn't take one. It's as simple as that. Either you hadn't got the balls to take one, or you were shit at taking them. Because I'm sure if you wanted to take one, Grealish, and you were good at it, you would have been in that top 5. And let's have a look at Man United, Villarreal. That went down to the goalkeepers. So if Saka, let's say, hadn't taken that one, it might have got to the point where, let's say penalty, let's say it was 8-8, and then 9-8 to Italy. Then suddenly Saka needed to take that to stay in, and he missed that. Would they then still be saying, well, he shouldn't be taking penalty? He didn't have a choice then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With this blame call, we were beaten at the end of the day. Italy, let's be honest with you, were the better team on the game.
Yeah.
And they were better at penalties by 1 penalty. That was it, 1 penalty. They were better than us. And that happens in football. Why are we looking for blaming this was wrong, that was wrong? Sometimes you actually get beaten by the better team.
Yeah. I agree.
People are saying, he changed his formation and, he shouldn't have had Shaw on and all. Well,
but that formation worked.
Put the ball in the back of the net.
The formation worked because for knocking on, 70 minutes, we were holding a team who literally have, when they've conceded, that they've managed to get back into the game within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We held them out at half time. We were talking about, Gary Lineker and everybody else, whichever channel you're watching, we're saying how, we've managed to hold them off till this point. Can you see us seeing it out? But you knew full well Italy were going to come out strong in the second half.
Yeah.
They had to. And a team that's been unbeaten and undefeated in so many games, you can't just lie down. I know obviously we're going further back into the game. We're going a bit like backwards, but their goal, it wasn't anything to shout about. It was lucky.
They got a lucky rebound. And like I said before, sometimes, you know what? You need a bit of luck.
You do.
And they were lucky that that guy didn't get sent off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, have you not seen the picture that did the rounds? There's a picture of, for anybody listening, there is also a picture of I think it's Chiellini and Mancini stood basically on the opening of the plane back in Italy, and they're lifting the trophy up, and Chiellini's got his other arm in air, and someone's got a picture. Someone's edited the picture where Saka's dangling from air, and the trophy's in other hand.
I haven't seen that. But I mean that was disgraceful. It was right in front of the linesman. Okay, he got booked for it, but he could have done him some damage.
Yeah.
He, it wasn't just a case, excuse me, of pulling a shirt. Pulling a shirt, you pull it. You're pulling like that.
Yeah.
You're not pulling back on something that's going to cut you across the neck. It's the rules, so maybe he should only have got the yellow. But to be honest with you, you needed somebody like a Roy Keane or a Stuart Pearce after that to have gone up and kicked him one on the shin and said, "Oi,"
Yeah, definitely. Because I think that's what we're missing. We're missing something like that.
Yeah.
I think we're definitely missing somebody with a bit of passion. I'm not saying that and don't quote me on this, anybody in the chat and everything. England's got passion all over the field. As you can see, when they were all together after the Denmark win, they were all stood there. They were belting Sweet Caroline out with the fans. The passion was there. But when I say passion, I mean somebody that will literally dive into everything, will throw themselves at the last ball, will not shirk a challenge, will literally spill blood for the cause. That's what I'm talking about.
We all remember the picture of Terry Butcher from the World Cup where he's basically got bandage round his head. You wouldn't get away with that these days, let's face it.
No, you'd have to change your top even if you... you have to change your top even if you got a scratch on your leg these days.
I know, yeah, it's true. But you know what? I will accept that Italy were the better team on the night, over the game. They were better at penalties, but I don't respect them.
No.
I don't respect them for the way they played. The way that they, players dive, but don't make it so obvious as that guy that went down and then got up 2 seconds later because they scored. Don't tug back on the shirt. I've no respect for the Italians at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think obviously the stats don't lie in terms of the possession, shots, and things like that. But on the basis of that, the way they've done it, they've done it dirty, and they've. So it's like I think I said on your channel that I'll hold my hands up. Italy deserved it, but at least we can walk away with our heads held high, knowing that we played in a final with dignity. We've not literally running around with a trophy in our hands, which we had to play dirty for. Yeah. So it's been a tough one,
and that's not being sore losers.
No, is it?
Because we both said that they deserved it on. 66%. 66% to 34% possession, 19 shots to our 6. We only had 2 shots on target. That is poor. But then you've got. I think there's a lot of England players that just didn't turn up on the day. Kane had a bad game again after he'd started to play really well.
Sterling returned to what he was like three years ago when he was just trying to piss around on the edge of the box with it.
He that was his worst game of the tournament, Sterling.
Ankit says Italian players are the best at dark arts. You can say that's unfair, but part of football. Both teams were great. Otherwise, in my opinion, it's a close call.
Yeah. Don't necessarily agree with that, I'm afraid, Ankit.
I think we played well in terms of defending the onslaught from the second half, but I also feel in the first 15 to 20 minutes we could have killed that game off.
Yes, yeah, we could. And again, it was almost like watching Leicester, because we do that all the time. Last season we'd get in the lead, and we just don't get that killer second goal. The opposition come back. Usually with Leicester, it's straight after half time. We let a goal in, and we end up losing it. And yeah, quite right. Mount was not seen. He had a really, really bad game. And I'm not to say
Phillips had a absolute cracking tournament, but Declan Rice shone above Calvin Phillips.
But Calvin Phillips was absolutely knackered. How he managed to stay on. I was dreading him taking a penalty, because you know what? They'd have had to wheel him up to the penalty spot in a wheelchair.
Hey, they still got up to ball faster than Rashford bloody did.
Well, that's true. That's true. But, and you can't, Mount, Kane, Sterling. I'm going to say they didn't turn up. I don't mean they didn't turn up on purpose, because no player ever does that. They just had bad games. These players, they're not robots.
No.
You know, and it's like we've all got players in our own clubs that we look at and we think, yeah, like we've got Tielemans. Is he going to play and score goals like he did in the FA Cup for every single game he plays? No. But because of how he is, we get a bit annoyed when he doesn't. And, you know, it's Kane. It's like, you know, you'd be scoring goals. You weren't even there. You know, where was Sterling? And you're the best of the best. You're supposed to be here. But they're human. And they will have bad days at the office. We all have bad days at the office.
I think the thing is as well, though, that Italy in the end started playing for penalties. They, you know, we looked knackered, we were tired, and everything else. But the probably last 6-7 minutes of the second half of extra time, we got a foothold in the game again. We started trying to, you know, it was almost like a second wind. We sort of went trying going forward. The Italians sat back on that, thinking if we can deal with this onslaught, take it to penalties, then it's fine. If we concede, then back to square one.
Do you think teams look at England and think, you know, if we get them to penalties, it's ours because they know of our record at penalties?
I suppose so. There could be a little bit of that. I think obviously we're at the Swiss that we beat on penalties. When we this tournament,
in the Nations League,
in
third,
and you know everyone were just really ridiculously happy because it was like, oh my god, with the hoodoos off our back, you know, we've got that off our back, we've got beating the Germans off our back, we've got getting into a final for the first time in 50 odd years. It's, you know, we've broke so many boundaries and we've come on leaps and bounds, as you said, 4th, 3rd, 2nd.
We'll win the World Cup.
Qatar. That's all I'm going to say. Qatar. We've been saying it's coming home. We didn't give you a timescale, people.
No, we did. I love that saying. I love that. You know, I mean, I just think that the trophy was, they bring the ball on by a little car.
Yeah.
I think the trophy was delivered by Amazon because they must have delivered it to next door because it didn't come home, did it? Sorry, you're out. We left it in Italy for you.
Yeah, we left it with a neighbour. That's what came through goal. We left it with a neighbour. Exactly. Italy, bloody hell.
But you know what? There's something about the English mentality and the press as well. And for the first time, I can remember further back than you, and the British press used to love breaking a story about an England player or something to do with the camp just before we'd set off for a tournament. It might have happened 2 or 3 weeks before, but we'll hold on to this until the Friday when they fly out ready for the Monday. We because it will sell more newspapers then, you know.
Yeah.
We love to build people up. You know, we love, oh yeah, it's coming home. We're going to win the final. Isn't it great? Oh, weren't we shit? Southgate should have done this. This player was rubbish. We just love kicking people in the balls when we get them right up to a not good position. And I still say, am I happy? I was upset, of course I was. But overall, with the tournament, we were in a final.
Yeah.
You know, what more do people expect? We are no better than, you know, all these other European teams. We're not sort of, you know, I mean, the great English people that invented football got stuffed 6-3 by, I think, or 6-2 by Hungary in the whenever it was in the 50s. You know, we have no God-given right to do anything. And just because we lose it, and we seem to go on a rampage and destroy everything and show what morons most England fans are, we should just enjoy the fact that, can I tell you something here, right? Spain would have swapped places with us. Germany would have swapped places with us. Portugal would have swapped places with us. Belgium, Croatia, who were in a final not so long ago. All of those would have swapped places with us.
Oh, massively, in a heartbeat. I think for Belgium, this is probably was one of their final chances at doing it with the players that they've got in the squad. You know, they've had the likes of Kompany at the back. You know, obviously De Bruyne at the moment is ridiculously injury prone.
Yeah.
You know, taking Lukaku out of it, as much as he were decent. You've got to have people around you. Look at Poland. Everyone expected something of Poland because of Lewandowski. One person doesn't make a team.
No, and he had some bad days at the office, and it happens. But I just wish we could look at it and go, do you know what? Wasn't that good? And maybe in a few years' time we'll look back on it like we look on Euro '96.
Yeah. And it will. It'll be one of those. It'll be the next bloody Three Lions song. It'll be, Saka stepping up to take penalty. It's saved.
Yeah. But what I mean is that you've got, at the time it was disappointing, but now we look back on Euro '96 as a great tournament for us because we were that much off Gazza's foot of going through to the final, and we'd have probably won the final. But this time we did one better than that.
Yeah.
We got to the final. Enjoy it. Be happy for what we did. Be disappointed. Be upset. But hey, and you got to think, right, I've not been awful, but these last 18 months, millions of people have died.
Yeah.
We've got this bug that's going around the world that's killing people at a faster rate than anything that we've ever known. We've all probably know somebody that's had it. We all probably know somebody that's probably died from it, who's at least been in hospital with it. We're having jabs. We've not been able to go out. We've been stuck in our homes, and this was a game of football.
Yeah, this tournament has brought everybody back together.
Yeah.
As I say, regardless of the start and the idiots and the hooligans and everything else, taking that away from it, this whole tournament has brought us together. It's probably brought families together, and I mean these people that haven't been talking, these people that then say, "Come on, life's too short," and then the next breath they sat around watching England play and they're hugging each other and everything's fine again. These are little things that people don't realise.
Yes.
And as you say, after the year that we've had, the year and a bit we've had, it's been ridiculous.
Yeah, it has.
So
let's be proud of what we've achieved, because we've achieved a hell of a lot. I don't like to talk about golden eras and things like that because we've been there before with Becks and all of all that lot, and we know the pitfalls of saying that, but it's a good time to be an England fan.
Massively. I mean, I'm going to bring it onto an individual now because a lot of people before the tournament was a bit sceptical about how Jordan Pickford's performances would have been. And for England, and especially in this tournament, he was phenomenal. He gets the Golden Glove, but yet doesn't get Player of the Tournament. Somehow it goes to Donnarumma. I don't get it.
I don't know how he got Player of the Tournament, but it's just one of those things. Pickford. See, some players can have a bad time at their club. They can go. I mean, how often do we see players that are brilliant for the club not be able to do it for the country? Loads.
Sterling again. Sterling again has had a dog awful season at Man City. He's not been firing at all. He's been looking like he's pretty much going to be left out the side. And then the next minute, he's been our Lord and Saviour, and he's scoring in every game.
Yeah, but you look at Pickford, and he's had no bias there, Ankit. You look at Pickford, and you say, yeah, he didn't have a good season at Everton, but he can turn it on for England. And obviously, Gareth's seen that. Gareth stuck by his players. He stuck by Kane even when he wasn't scoring. Not unlike Venables did with Sheringham before Euro '96. Sheringham was having a terrible time. Yeah. He couldn't score. He couldn't have scored in the proverbial ladies' house, and yet he stuck with him, and he had a great tournament, Sheringham, and was, I think, only second behind Shearer in goals scored. So you've also got to think with a goalkeeper as well. At some point, a goalkeeper is only good as the defence in front of him.
I expected that from Kate, to be honest. For all you listening, because this will be live on Spotify afterwards.
Can I just say that Are you religious?
She's not. She's not.
I don't think having sort of the Pope in goal for you would have, would have been really a lot of help.
But yeah, for all those listening on Spotify, which obviously we are on, as well as Apple iTunes and Google Podcasts, please do, tune into us on there. If you don't want to see mine and Chris's face, at least then, if you think we've got a face for radio, give us a listen over there. But the missus is saying in the comments that Pickford was good, but he's still not Nick Pope, which, being a Burnley channel and me watching Burnley, I expected her to say that, to be fair. But yeah, Ankit's also said, I slander Jorginho every week in club football. Chris, I mean, I can understand why. But
no, like I said, the point that I was making before His Royal Highness made an appearance in Pope is a goalkeeper is only good as the defence that he's got in front of him.
Yeah,
and we've had a really good defence for England this tournament. And if the defence in front of you is no good, it doesn't matter how good the goalkeeper is. He can't stop everything on his own.
No, can he?
And you could argue that maybe Everton's defence wasn't that good, and a lot of people would argue that. But put him behind the England defence and in fairness to Nick Pope as well, he's not a bad goalkeeper. He's no Kasper Schmeichel, but he's not a good bad goalkeeper.
all I will say is, for me, obviously, in terms of goalkeepers, I thought this was the tournament where this was Nick Pope's big chance because of how Pickford had been playing. Obviously, the injury to Nick Pope and the operation that he had to have ruled him out. So, fair enough. There is a chance. But again, going back to what you say, that people at club level and going on to international are decent, can be decent. I mean, I look at us. We signed a keeper in Tom Heaton that was on loan at Cardiff, did all right. Then he went to Bristol City. They got relegated. Yeah. Tom Heaton was available on a free, and we brought him in. We ended up selling him to Aston Villa for 11 million so many years down the line. Yeah. He came in and became number one. It's not like he actually came in and, worked his way up. He actually came in and we give him a chance from the off.
At one point, didn't you have like the 3 England goalkeepers all signed for you?
Yeah. We had Heaton, Pope and Hart, yeah.
Yes. So and something else I just want to say as well is, I don't know whether I know I'm not colourblind, but whether it's just the screen here, but it does look like you've got the Irish flag up there.
Where?
Instead of the Italian one, it looks like it's green, white, and orange to me.
Oh yeah, because it colours. Yeah, it does.
Are you sure you got the Italian flag?
It definitely is the Italian flag.
Are you sure? Because it's a Top Gear moment here, because that does look like the Irish flag to me, young man.
And I think it might just be the Latin.
Yes, it does. It is not. It does look a little bit. Let me know if you agree with me, guys. But I mean, that looks orange to me compared to the red on this, on the England one.
No, it does. You can sort of see a difference. I understand where you're coming from now.
Yeah.
I didn't see that before, Chris. Very well observed, sir. Very well observed.
I've been looking at it all night, thinking that doesn't, look. But you say that it should be red. I will believe you. The Irish flag.
Yeah, I put them there underneath a picture of Jack Grealish when he changed. But yeah, no. Obviously, looking forward, we've got Qatar. How do you think we'll get on?
I think have we already qualified? I think we're already there, aren't we?
I think so. I think we're only probably, about a game away?
I thought I read somewhere that we were already through, because a lot of teams are already through. And in fairness, it's only 18 months away.
Yeah.
It's... It's going to be weird because it's in the middle of the season. And And had it been, I think, is it before Christmas? It is, isn't it? It's December.
Yeah.
Had it been January or February, I'd have said fair enough, because it will give us a bit of some of the players a bit of a winter break. But it's a hard one when you've got that, because if you want to sign good players, you've got to accept that we're going to lose them for tournaments.
Yeah.
You know, we've just signed two African players, and we know we're going to lose both of them for the African Cup of Nations when that next comes round. You know, but do you not sign them? But you know, I mean, the whole thing of having a World Cup in Qatar, and I'm not being racist or anything like that. It just isn't. It isn't the place to hold a football tournament.
No.
And
I think even the players know that, though, don't they? I think the players were against it. You know, the amount of deaths that there were just because they were trying to knock these stadiums up for fun. It's you know, there's been a lot of drama surrounding it, and a lot of people, you know, myself included, looked straight at the people that were heading it, people like Seb Blatter, and were saying, you know what, you've done this. Basically, you just been offered a big sum of cash by a mega rich oil company, and you've took it. You've took it.
You know, he hides behind this argument of spreading the football word. You know, and I kind of go to America. It says both colours of red look orange. I've forgot what I was saying now. Okay, you've put me off.
She's good at that. She's good at that.
Changing the subject to putting us off. What I can't remember. What was I saying? We were saying about
we're about the tournament and how it should be in Qatar.
They're very good FIFA at hiding behind things that suit them. You know, South Africa, I get. You know, because it was taking it to South Africa. They play football. They're a big. You know, they're a big footballing nation in Africa. And you know, it brings money in. I mean, I went to South Africa on holiday a couple of years ago, and what you tend to forget is after the World Cup is what happens. So I actually doing this tour of Soweto and around there, and you know, you've got all the the bad housing and everything in the slums in Soweto, and literally just by turning your head like that, you went from the slums to this huge big stadium that was used for the World Cup, and it was empty and overgrown because it hadn't been used afterwards. But all that money had gone to building it.
Yeah.
Qatar aren't exactly a big football nation, so we're not actually spreading the word of football by taking it there. It's not like they're a poor country that needs, you know, the publicity and the money being taken into it. You know, they're very, you know, what's going to happen if Budweiser sponsor the World Cup? Because I don't know whether you can drink in Qatar.
No, that's another thing I was going to say. That the rules and regulations of being in that country, like, you know, if I was to go with Kate, because me and Kate aren't married, I couldn't hold her hand. We couldn't sleep in the same room. You know, all these things.
If you're not married, I mean, it's disgusting. You should wait until you've got a ring on the finger. That is disgusting, young man. Have you not heard of the sanctuary of marriage?
But it's sort of medieval, isn't it? In a way where, you know, it's. I understand it's a country that's sort of in development and everything else, but don't go giving it to a country in development.
No,
so much could go wrong. So much could go wrong with it.
I bet you now. I'll predict now. And I'm not going to predict scores or who's going to be in the finals, but I predict there will be at least a couple of hundred English fans that are arrested and put in jail for drinking if it's not allowed.
Oh, massively.
You know,
massively.
Yeah. But you know, how can Qatar host a tournament where some of the big sponsors of it? Sorry, mate, I've got you trouble here.
It's all right. She's on about an engagement ring.
Yes, I gathered that. I gathered that. Honestly, Kate, if he loved you, he would offer to get married and get engaged to you. You know, if that.
Hey, I do.
Know, she just tells you that you do. There you go. If you ask him, I think it's a leap year next year, Kate. Just bide your time. But how will they feel with companies like Budweiser sponsoring a tournament that they're hosting in a country that I don't know. I could be wrong, but is against drink.
But then again, it's like players like Paul Pogba moving the Heineken bottle that was 0.0% alcohol out of the way.
Yeah,
It wasn't an
was
alcoholic
it Pogba?
drink.
Was it Ronaldo? I think it was Ronaldo.
No, Ronaldo moved Coca-Cola.
Oh, did he? Right.
Yeah,
yes,
Pogba moved Heineken.
You see, again, I'm sorry. Who do these footballers think they are? Right? They're footballers at the end of the day. And I tell you what, yeah, we'll leave your rings out of this, Kate, shall we? Let's not go there, but we'll get to the bottom of it later. Yeah, these companies, I'd have been fuming if I was the Coca-Cola MD or whatever. I'd have said to UEFA, I'm pulling me advertising for the rest of the tournament, and Heineken as well, because they've paid millions. And then there's these players being childish. I don't like it. It's bad for you. I'm moving that. Well, the money that's being pumped into into football by these clubs, by the sponsoring of it, you're happy to take that, aren't you? And let's be honest with you. Let's not forget Ronaldo. Not so long ago, used to be an ambassador of some, or he certainly was in Coca-Cola adverts.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it were Coke, it were Pep. Probably a lot of footballers were on Pepsi, weren't there? They were on Pepsi. They had the pictures on Pepsi cans and stuff like that. Players like Messi and things like that. They all did. The thing is, I can understand where you're coming from. I can understand where you're coming from though, because Coca-Cola could have easily said, "Yeah, we want to pull out." Yeah. But on the flip side of that, there was other teams going, it might not be good for Ronaldo, but it's good for me, and drinking it during interviews. So they sort of got a positive reaction as well.
Yeah, I guess so.
And the fact that even if they've got a picture of Ronaldo picking them bottles up and moving them to the side, even if they just took a still of Ronaldo holding them bottles, Ronaldo touching a Coke bottle probably endorsed their product.
Yeah,
by 10%.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous how it works, but
yeah. But going back to the football, and I do feel we are on a football show, so maybe we should. I think other stadiums I think are going to be air conditioned. They have to be, don't they?
Yeah.
Even though we're going in December, it's going to be so hot. You couldn't. I mean, you're not going to need one drinks break. You're going to want 2 or 3.
Massively.
Hot, so if the stadium are air conditioned, then I suppose the games are going to be fine. I just don't agree with it being there because it was bought, and we know it was. And when all that came out, why wasn't it taken off them? But can we do well there? Yes, of course we can, because we're building on what we've already got. And the good thing is that it's actually coming round quicker than it normally would do because of the because the World Cup would have been next summer, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So it's because of everything that's gone on. It's like they say, once you fall off a horse, get back on as quick as you can. And we've got international football coming back quicker than it normally would. So I can't see any reason. I expect us to be in the semis at least.
Yeah, I take that. That. I mean, it works because, as you say, with the drinks breaks, it's going to be red hot whether it's December or not over there.
Yeah,
it's one of those where even pre-season, at club level, managers are taking teams for hot weather training and things like that. We're going to see that probably ramp up. We're going to see if there's a break for internationals where these players that aren't on international duty are going away for hot weather, to learning the hot weather and sort of have a training week.
Yeah,
it's these players are going to get all this chance to do what they need to do.
Bring them up to Gawthorpe Hall for the hot weather training. That's what I say.
Christ, there's no hot weather up there. Put it that way. Cracker. It's just a boggy mess. Well, it used to be. It used to be before our investment in the training facilities, but
yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It's not just Bellingham and Kit as well. Bellingham in 18 months' time. If Sancho's doing really well at Manchester United, that's going to stand us in great offstead. Saka could have a phenomenal season if he leaves. If it
That's the school governing body, isn't it? Ofsted?
Yeah, but it still stands as in good stead. Not Ofsted, yeah. Yeah, oh, Christ. It's because of all these kids. They're all at school level. They're not like us now, Chris.
I know. This is it. Yeah, we feel older commenting on this, don't we?
I do know. It's strange, I like speaking to kids. Oh, have you heard this song? Or have you heard of that person? Oh. No. What's this? Me and Kate were singing along to West Club 7 in the car the other day on a drive. Kids like.
Hang on, you actually just said that live on camera.
Oh, I said it live on camera. Don't you worry. Yeah. I love a cheese fest. Chris.
You can't beat it, can you?
You can't. No. A couple of drinks and you're dancing around, throwing shapes and all sorts.
Yeah. I just don't think S Club 7 should have ever been released from jail, though.
That is true, Kate. I am only 29. You are in your 30s. You are technically got yourself a toy boy.
She's a cougar, is she?
She is.
She's a cougar. Whoa, Kate. It's all coming out now.
I know. Honestly, no. I mean, as you said, semi-finals, be more than happy with it. The hot weather training, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Where's Harry Kane going to be? Saka could be doing good things if he leaves Arsenal.
I would be surprised if Kane's in the squad next one.
Yeah, I would if he's not having a great season, especially with his ankles.
Yeah.
Doug, thanks for tuning in. I know you did. Happy birthday for a couple of days back. Obviously, turning 29, it's no mean feat at all. It's that scary time now, though, where you're a bit like, 30's creeping up. I mean, I've only got August to wait, back end of August, and I'm like, eee. So I'm not looking forward to that. Yeah, I know, Kate. I know you only turned 30 in March. I mean, yeah, you've had two lockdown birthdays.
Still makes you a cougar until next
two
month.
Lockdown birthdays, to be fair. So, she's probably saying I'm still 28 because the last two don't count. But Patrick,
only a woman could get away with that.
Patrick, hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in. Charlotte, hope you're good. Thanks again also for tuning in. We're doing all right, mate. We're doing all right. I mean, the fact that you're here, the fact that you're willing to listen to what we've had to say, it's been brilliant. So thank you. As I said, do get your comments in. We are probably going to wrap this up soon, but do get your comments in. Let us know how you think we will get on in Qatar. Is there any specific player you think will stand out? True, I get that. Ankit says, I'm so looking forward to the World Cup already. Euros has rekindled international football for sure. Couldn't agree more. By the way, I'm turning 37 soon. Just the number, guys.
Hell, Ankit, you don't look, in fairness to him, he doesn't look 37.
No.
Looks about 50, to be honest with you.
I knew it went awkwardly quiet. I knew there was going to be some sort of punchline coming there.
Hey, I'm 60, so I'm just sat here crying.
There's nothing wrong with that, Chris. There's nothing wrong with that. Exactly. Like the Missy says, you're only as old as you feel.
Oh, of course, I was going to say you're only as old as the woman you feel, but you can't say that if you carried litter.
Freaking hell.
Why do you keep having me back on? That's all I can say.
I know. I'm sat here now going, it's gone really well. It's got, oh, shit.
Oh, hang on. That's me making a noise. My battery's going down.
It's all right.
There you go.
It's all right.
It's my age, you see. I have to charge myself up.
No, that.
Oh, great, Kate.
Hey, it's just one of them. It's just one of them. We're all getting older. We're all getting wiser. I think. I'll speak for myself on that one. I will speak for myself on that one. But no, Chris, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming along.
I think we have got to look forward to the World Cup next year. It's good times. Let's take the positives out of the Euros. Where we were, like I say, not so long ago, and where we are now. It's, I say, Roy Hodgson coming back from Brazil, not even getting out the group stage, not being able to beat Costa Rica, Harry Kane on corners. how far have we come? We've come a bloody long way, and we can keep it all together, bring on the World Cup, and you know, let's just enjoy football for what it is.
Couldn't agree more, Chris. Couldn't agree more. I mean, thank you for coming on again. Thank you for speaking about this final again, which obviously, you know, as painstaking as it was.
I'm going to go off and take my medication now.
It's one of those. It's not where you're literally popping the pills out, is it? You're just tipping box into hand.
Exactly. I'm crushing them down, you know, with a straw. No, I mean, thanks for having me on again. So you're your own worst enemy, really. But
yeah, it's all right, Chris. You're harmless enough when you're only over a camera.
You wait till I turn up and knock on your door.
Like, Kate, it's for you.
I have heard there's a cougar lives here. Where is she? You know?
Cheers, Ankit, for tuning in. Cheers, everybody in the comments for tuning in. Chris, again, thanks for tuning in,
welcome,
being here,
mate.
coming along. Again, give Leicester Till I Die a plug, because it's an absolute cracking channel.
Brilliant, mate. Cheers. It's always great to be on. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. Give us a subscribe. We'd be forever grateful. Leicester Till I Die Facebook, and also on Instagram and on Twitter at Leicester TID. And don't forget, guys, give this channel a sub as well. Dan works really, really hard on this. So he told me to say. He works very, very hard on this. It's a great channel. As you can see, we have a great laugh. It's always a pleasure to come on. Make sure you sub to this channel as well. Cheers,
Chris. Thanks a lot for coming on again. And
anytime, mate.
I'll drop you that 20 quid later on.
That's okay. Hey, I'll see you on Monday.
You will.
Yes.
For everybody that's here, do head over to Leicester Till I Die TV. I will be over there on Monday. Chris has got a nice little quiz, him alongside Craig, that he has on regular as a panelist. He set some questions alongside Chris, and they're going to put my Burnley knowledge to the test, as well as Leicester. So
yeah, I've seen the questions. We had a bit of a test run through last night.
Yeah, I am nervous, to be fair. I am nervous.
He volunteered. No, it'll be fun. They're not going to be hard.
Of course it'll be fun. Fun when it's like, question 1, you got that one wrong. Question 2. You know what? I'll just put you out your misery. You got 1 out of 20. How's that sound?
Where do Burnley play? Turf Moor. No, they don't play at Turf Moor. They turn up. I'll let you go, mate, before you swear at me.
I won't. Hey, I'll never swear at you, Chris.
All the best, Kate, as well. You have my sympathy for putting up with him, but make sure he sorts your ring out.
I will. I just twigged. No, thanks again, Chris. Honestly, cheers for coming on, and I'll see you on Monday. Mate. If I don't see you before.
Yeah.
Take care, pal.
The best. Stay safe, everybody.
Bye, pal. So there was Chris. Thanks for coming on. Absolute laugh. Absolutely brilliant. You know, I can't fault him enough. He is a cracking guy. As Kate says, check's already in the post since his 6th day. I mean, I'm surprised you sent it in the post, to be honest. I'd have just attached it to a little pigeon's leg and sent it off. It'd have got there eventually. Chris, Australia are English rivals in the Ashes. Just notice your cap. I know, Ankit. I was going to pull him up on that since he pulled me up on the orange background. Guys, if you are still here, if you are still watching, thanks very much for tuning in. I would just like to say that, pardon me, I'm glad I've done that now. Chris has gone. Christ, they've had a right go at me. Please do tune in on Friday as well. Friday, we are doing, better late than never, we are doing our end of season review. And what we have is it is a northern edition. So we have got a Man City fan, United fan, Everton fan, Liverpool fan, and another Burnley fan, not just myself. So please do tune in. We are going to discuss the seasons. We are the seasons. Yeah, summer, autumn, winter, spring, and all that. No, we are going to discuss last season, 2020-21 season, and what's to come for these teams this year. Thank you very much for tuning in. You've all been amazing. Thanks a lot for your comments. As I said, please do like, subscribe,
to the channel at Turf Moor House on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Just be there. Honestly, a like and a sub means so much. So thanks for tuning in. You've been wonderful. I've been Dan. Thanks again.